Okay, I think we are live now. I can't. Let me see here. What is this? All right. Okay, I can close this, put this away, put my coffee away, and let's get going. So, welcome to another session of Ask Me Anything Sunday. Ask Me Anything Sunday. Boy, do we have to talk about stuff today. So this was a strange and a sad month for me. So first off, I started this blog in 2019. I already had a passive income stream of about $500 a month from my apps. I develop Android apps and I put some ad mob advertising on them, and that's how I generated most of my money. I also have a few applications on the Play Store which I do sell, which do not contain any advertising. So those were my revenue streams. I was starting this blog to build up the number of passive income streams that I have, and so spent most of my time the last 3 months on building out this blog, coming up with Ask Me Anything Sundays, and subscribing or starting to use Pinterest and Tailwind. So the name of the game is to provide value to everyone who is interested in earning also a passive income stream, and that's what I want to do. And I want to basically focus on a lot of the bullshit that's out there, making money from a blog, or from ads, or from whatever you can see or read, right? Most of the times when it sounds too good to be true, it truly is too good to be true. So you have to see it this way. And my blog, Make Money Online for Life, mainly focuses on trying to test out some of those programs out there and see what the results are. Now, as I said, I started the blog in September. In October, I started using Pinterest, and in November really is when I started Tailwind. So with Pinterest, I drove a little bit of traffic to my site. So give you a couple of statistics here. The impressions that I got from Pinterest on my pins were about 12,000 impressions for October. And up till now, it's December 22nd. Today, I have about 30,000 impressions. So that sounds really great. The engagement, on the other hand, went from 304 engagements in October to 656 engagements. Also great. I more than doubled the number of engagements, and that's most likely due to me utilizing Pinterest much more through Tailwind. And then the more important number are actually the clicks. So the number of clicks in all of October were 61. So as I said, I just started out this blog, so I'm not surprised that this number is really low. And in December so far, it's 160. So 160 clicks is good. It's almost triple of what I had in October, which is great. However, also November and December obviously are the month where there are a lot of holidays, and people may or may not click more frequent than before. The other thing I tried to do in November was to sign up for AdSense for this blog, and I was flat out rejected. AdSense rejects about 96% of all new applicants. So a lot of the pins and a lot of the blogs that you see out there, it basically just tells you to go and sign up with AdSense and then make a few bucks here or there over during the next couple of months or years. This is no longer true. This may have been true a couple of years ago, and AdSense has become much more strict, and they reject now most blogs. And interestingly, the reason that they provide in rejecting blogs is because there's so much content already out for this and this topic. Or put it in another way, it is AdSense thinking that we don't need any more new content on the internet or any more new providers on the internet. Whatever we have is more than sufficient. So the internet has reached its peak, and I think that's where AdSense is going. So with that said, the AdSense rejection obviously didn't stop me to try to do to test out other monetization paths, and I signed up with media.net. And media.net is very similar to AdSense. They allow you to sign up, and I hope they don't change their policy in the future, but currently you can sign up regardless of how small or big your blog is, and you can start adding advertising on your blog. It looks a little bit different than the ads from Google because they require a two-step click before you actually get paid for a real click, but they also have a CPM, which is cost per 1,000 visitors. Unfortunately, in all of December that when I started it in early December with media.net. In all of December, I only gathered about 930 impressions from my website. So this goes back to the low number of clicks that I received from Pinterest to drive traffic to my website. And of course, Google is doing much worse. I barely get any traffic through Google directly. And so I have received have earned $0.00 so far from MediaNet. And I will keep you up to date of my progress and see if I can turn this around and maybe earn a little bit of money using media.net. The other thing that I did in late November, the last day of November, and beginning of December, I signed up for Tailwind. I used Tailwind for about a week for free, and then reached the limit of the free subscription. And then I shelled out about $105 for the 1-year Tailwind subscription. And you may be wondering, why is it only 105 instead of 120? And that's because I got I found a sale or a good deal, and I signed up, got a little bit of a rebate there. And I'm using Tailwind now to pin between 16 and 32 pins each and every single day. Now, most of those pins are not coming from my website. Most of those pins I find, and I go through the article, I read through it or skim through it as good as I can, and then put these pins up on the different group boards and add them onto my boards as well. And the reason for that is I spend a lot of time on social marketing and YouTube, like today, and fixing things. So I don't have a lot of time to actually create content, which is a problem, and that's why I don't yet have enough content to utilize it to spread it throughout Pinterest as much as I would like it to be. But I'm working on it. So stay tuned. There will be more coming in the coming months, and I'm really working hard on growing this blog and providing the best value I can. I have generated a blog about utilizing Fiverr to help with some of the tasks that you're facing as a blogger, and that has panned out quite nice. I think the blog describes pretty well what Fiverr is good for and what it is not. And as part of this, I also hired 2 story writers to actually write about their experience using Fiverr to earn money. And you can find one of those blogs already on my website, makemoneyonlineforlife.com. And the other one is coming shortly. And the experiences are in general very positive, and they are able to earn quite some good money through Fiverr. And Fiverr on the other side is also earning a lot of money using their services. Fiverr, if you're not aware, keeps about 20% of the income that a somebody on Fiverr receives, but they also scoop up money from the people ordering the gigs. So Fiverr is making out like a bandit. I want to talk a little bit about how blogging and how the internet has changed in the past, say, 20 years, right? I've been doing this for a long time. I had my first website in 1996, so that's over 20 years ago. And back then, you simply had a website and you would write about whatever is on your mind. I don't know when WordPress was created, but probably around the same time, or maybe slightly before then. But it was not as big of a platform as it is currently, of course. So I handcoded, handcrafted HTML pages when I wrote my blog or diary, as it was called back then. And somewhere along the way, I started to sign up with AdSense, because back then AdSense took anyone, just like you still read today, which is no longer true. And so I put AdSense on most of my websites that I have, because it was simple and it was a couple of pennies here and there. And every now and so often, every couple of years, I would get a check when I crossed the $100 line, and that was good. I started earning real money passively using AdMob, which is also by Google, and which is connected to your AdSense account in the way that you receive your payment from AdSense, and the payment is or the way that you earn it is through AdMob ads inside my Android apps. So you have to have both accounts in order to earn money, and it is combined into one lump sum that is being paid out. So over the last couple of years, I started developing Android apps. I bought some Android apps of certain sites, and then improved their capabilities or completely rewrote them, enhanced them, and added features to them, and started making some really good money using AdMob, to the point of where I got within the last year, on average, about $400 to $500 each month, probably mostly $500 each month. And that was a good passive income stream. And the reason why I started this blog is I wanted to communicate how you can start earning passive income as well, and see what other ways there are to create a passive income stream. Now, this month, on December, actually almost a week ago, December 16th, I opened my Gmail account, and I get an email from the AdSense team telling me that my account has been terminated. And the reason why it was terminated is because I have received, or I supposedly have done incentivized traffic. Now, incentivized traffic, let me just go back to the email here. Hold on. And if in case you don't know, I didn't know, incentivized traffic is where's my incentivized traffic is is offering incentives to click on links or ads, read emails, or surf other websites. This includes, for instance, auto-serve sites, pay-to-read email networks, and sites comparing various pay-to-click programs. So I have never done any of that. So this sounds completely arbitrary, and I don't know where and how Google would flag me for this. I never paid for anyone to click on ads. I never will, and I have actually written blog posts about not doing this because it's it's against the terms of services. The really sad thing actually is that there is no way to contact the AdSense team and figure out what's going on. So it's not that they supported any more details of Which of my websites caused this, or which of my apps, I don't know, because both accounts are connected. They're very inspecific, just saying your AdSense account in general. And since there's no way to contact AdSense, there is really not a lot I can do. Now, the one thing that they provided, though, is a link to an appeals form, which I promptly filled out and sent back, and I have not heard back from them. So the only other thing that I could have done, that I can do, and that Google actually does, is they have an outsourced community support, meaning people not working for Google answering questions from with regard to AdSense and other things. So while this service is great and it seems to be working, they do not have any information or any influence on what's going to happen with your account. And if you go there, I really highly recommend going there and searching for AdSense termination or reading through some of the comments that they leave, because it turns out that those employees, while a lot of them give you or let you know what may be causing issues, you'll also see that they get really condescending at times. So if you read through it, having somebody saying like, I lost all my income revenue from AdSense and it's really devastating to me, and the response would be along the lines, well, you're using AdSense, why don't you go and build an international ad agency yourself, right, and see how easy it is to earn money on the site with your crappy content. Basically paraphrasing here a little bit, but it is something where you see that an employee type personality responding to an entrepreneur type personality by basically saying, we don't care, right? And I think that's the overarching theme that I see here from Google. While I have been using Google Ads, where I do pay to get traffic or to get additional installs from applications, and if you go to Google Ads, you'll see there's a contact form. You can email them, you can call them. There's a very easy way to get in contact. Now with Google AdSense, where they pay you, there's no way that you can contact them in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing except for this contact support forum, and that is really, really sad. So with that said, I've been using AdSense since 2006. I think around that time when I signed up. So definitely 13 years ago. 13 years is a long, long time. And you would think that after this time, there would be some way of saying that, something went wrong. Let's say whoever looked at it, I assume it's an artificial intelligence program that looked at it. There's something not right? The partnership has been going on for 13 years. The total revenue I've earned was about $13,500 over these 13 years. So that was good money for me, and it was good money for Google. After all, Google keeps about 40% of the ad revenue it receives. So if I earned $13,000, that means Google earned about $9,000 off of this relationship, and they simply terminate it without telling me why or how. So it's a sad story. And so what I had to do, because Google AdSense was the source of my passive income, and it was fed through my apps, I utilized that money that I received from AdSense partially to pay for my Google Ads advertising. And of course, if I don't get any money in, I cannot spend any money on Google Ads. So I had to basically stop all my Google Ads. That is costing Google another $200 a month, roughly, that I would have spent. So not only did Google AdSense earn 40% of everything that I provided to them, of the value that I provided to them, which is about $500 a month. Now I also stopped paying $200 a month to Google Ads. So the total loss that Google receives is actually far higher for them. And I'm just flabbergasted how you can treat a business partner like this. But Google doesn't seem to care too much about it. And when this happened, of course, I was devastating, right? When I read the email, I tried to figure out what was going on and what did I do wrong, and it really put me in a very bad mood. I wasn't depressed, but I was just very sad, right? Because it was a constant stream of passive income. I was very happy about it because this is the only additional money out of my 9 to 5 that I earned on the side. And believe you me, I checked my AdSense account multiple times a day simply because it gives you this rush, this really great feeling that you're building something of value, you're providing to the world, and you're getting reimbursed for that engagement. It took me 3 years to build these apps, and 3 years of spending every waking hour of my spare time working, coding, bug fixing, answering questions. So it is real work. It's not like you have an app and it's just a hobby, and it's just don't see it too harshly if you're being kicked out. No, this was a passive income stream. So I saw this as a business, and I took it serious as a business, as you have to, right? So getting basically terminated or fired by Google AdSense is a big hit. So I did a lot of research. I dug into Google Analytics, funny enough, Google Analytics, to try to figure out what went on. So I found some spikes on my websites, and first I thought, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe some bot network went through my websites and they for some reason clicked on Google Ads, and I don't know, I didn't pay for it, etc. But then looking further into it and digging through and comparing it to the access log files from my server, which I have access to, my shared hosting, I eventually found out that this traffic was actually coming from Google, right? So the Google bot or whatever in Google went through my websites, all of them that had AdSense ads, and they pulled all the web pages and they looked through it, and something triggered this termination from Google. So at this point, I'm still very confused as to what I may have done wrong. And it is not really a good sign if a company just tells you to you violated our terms of services. We're not going to tell you why. We're just going to say it is ABC, in my case, incentivized traffic, but it could have been like you were sitting in front of your computer and laughing too loud. It doesn't matter, right? We're going to terminate you, and all the monies that we've earned together with you, we're going to just keep. Obviously, in their terms of services or in their rules, they say they will try to reimburse their advertisers. But as I said, I've been doing Google Ads for many years, and I have never received a reimbursement of illegal ads displayed on somebody's form, webpage, or app. So I'm fairly certain that Google just keeps that money. And $1,000 for me is not the end of the world, and $1,000 is pennies, and not even pennies for Google. But it's a big thing, right? Basically, I was expecting to get a paycheck of about $640 this month from Google for my income from November. That's gone. I already collected up to $400 on my December when this happened. That's gone. So losing that money certainly hurts a lot. And not just because it's $1,000, but because it's the loss of a passive income stream, right? So somebody took something very important away from you, and again, you may or may not believe me, but yeah, I know, obviously, I know I did nothing wrong, or if there's anything that triggered it for real reasons, I'm not aware of what it was, and I would not have done it if I'd known it. But I certainly did not go out and find people to click on my apps or make promises any way, shape, or form to do something like this. So I still hope that at some point Google will answer my appeals form, hopefully in the positive, so that I can connect back and get my passive income stream back. But I don't know. Since there's no way to contact Google, and there's no way, I don't know. It's just it's just one of those things where a large company just gives you the middle finger and you have to take it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now I could go to court, but you know, I don't want Google to block me of all the other services, which was also something that I read on the support forum, basically threatening one guy, I believe he was from India, but I can't be for sure, that if he continues to complain, Google would just simply terminate all access to YouTube, to Google Docs, to anything that he would ever want to use from Google. Which is a scary thing, right? Think about it. If Google does not give you access to their platform, you are an outcast, especially if you work in the IT industry. If you're a developer, if you're an entrepreneur, there is no way around utilizing Google. With that said, though, there are other options, right? So one of the options I'm currently looking into to replace my AdMob my AdMob income is to go through Mopub. Now Mopub is a mobile publishing platform which was bought by Twitter, and it has similar numbers. So I will obviously give this a try and see what comes of it. And for my AdSense on my web pages, I removed all of them because quite honestly, I only received about $1 a month from all of my 6 web pages. So I removed all of them in case the appeals form goes through a human being and they're going to look at my account again. There should not be anything that they will see on my web pages, right? Because it's all gone from my web pages. Excuse me. And to give you an example, I had a personal web page, movingsatellites.com, which I started in 96. There is a DVD authoring tool which I did for Linux. I also spent about a decade, 10 years, developing this program, and then there are multiple other blogs and WordPress blogs that I did, plus my WebOS, which had a single advertising on the main page, but it again, right, I removed it all, so I'm completely AdSense free currently. I just want to see if I can get my AdMob account reinstated and then continue to earn passive income through my apps. Good coffee. Now, if that doesn't work, I'm going to move all my apps to Mopub and see how that is going. There are also other options out there. There are multiple options to replace native apps in Android apps, native ads in Android apps, and I start with Mopub because it seems to be the next in line after AdMob. The other thing I'm doing now, I went through my Android phone. I went through the privacy settings, and quite frankly, I disabled a couple of things that you are sending per default to Google when you have an Android phone. So I would recommend you do the same. Does Google really need to listen to everything you say, even if your phone is not, if you don't use your phone, right? I think not. Does Google really need to know where you're surfing, even if you don't go to, or what you're searching for? even if you don't go through the web page or the YouTube video. I don't think so. So simply, my recommendation is go to Android. If you have an Android phone, go to your privacy settings and have another look at it. I also am going to switch from utilizing Chrome in Android to Firefox. Again, Google knows way too much about what people are doing, and this is simply a way of returning the favor, right? If Google is not a partner that is reliable, then I don't want Google to have all the information that it currently gets. Now, I will never get away from Google not knowing anything about me, but I will try to limit my exposure, the exposure of data I have. Now, with that said, going back to the blog, I made another change. I started to utilize a WordPress plugin called WordPress Analytics. And this WordPress Analytics, unlike what I had before, which was Google Analytics, does not send the data to Google or any other platform. It stores it locally, and it is a really, really nice plugin. It gives me actually certain information easier to look at and more information in certain aspects. It may not have all the bells and whistles otherwise, but I do like it already much better than the Google Analytics plugin or the Google Analytics dashboard widget, which I was using before. So definitely going to look around for Google Analytics replacement as well going forward for all of my websites, because I think it's important to see what's going on with your websites. Even if I don't currently monetize them, I will definitely keep an eye on them and see what else I can do to limit my exposure to Google. So moving from Chrome to Firefox is one thing. Moving from default search from utilizing Google to DuckDuckGo, or maybe to Bing, which is a Microsoft search engine, or utilizing Yahoo. It's definitely this termination definitely has taught me that Google is looking at you, in a very strong way, and I don't like being pressured or dependent on any single company anywhere. Now, will I give up my Android phone and switch over to Apple iOS? I don't think so. I think Apple in many ways has similar issues, but if you think about it, there are only two companies, right? You can only have Android or an iOS phone, and that is a scary thought. I certainly wish we would have more options in getting our cell phone operating system. Now let's take a look at the money that I have spent this month on my blog, and I spent $39 on Fiverr for the 2 articles that I talked about, which I think is a good investment into the site. I see it as an investment, not as an expenditure. And then I spent $105 on the 1-year Tailwind subscription. Now, $105, as I mentioned in the beginning, is because I got a special offer to cut down a couple of percentage points for the first sign-off. But next year, for the next year, then when I want to renew this, I will have to pay $120 a year for Tailwind. I do use Tailwind's publishing tool quite heavily. So if I take a look at my publisher scheduled pins, I have about 100 pins currently scheduled, which are over 5 days. And I am a member of 5 Tribes, which I also always update when I have new contents. And so I'll see how this pans out before I do another renewal a year from now or in 11 months from now. I certainly see that I do get some traction, and it's early on for my blog. It's only 3 months old, but I need to see some return on that investment. $120 is a lot of money for a blog which is currently not providing any income. And I spend currently most of my time on my blog, and not most, all of my spare time on the blog and cleaning up the AdSense mess. Right, I certainly would have liked not to need to spend not only losing my income, my passive income stream, but also the time that I spent on trying to figure out what's going on and trying to find replacements for what I've lost. Takes a lot of time and costs a lot of energy. So thankfully it's the holiday season, so I have 1 week off and I can spend much more time now on sorting these out. The other thing I did, and I highly recommend to anyone, is I started doing some physical exercise again. For those who don't know, I'm over 50 by now, and I started up my P90X program again. I do this every once in a while, and I just had my startup week, which basically means I do a couple of those exercises and give my body enough rest, more rest than usual, because especially if you haven't done it in a while, it hurts, and if you're older as I am, your body needs more time to recover. So now that the startup week is over, my plan is to go all the way 90 days and do P90X. So this month was devastating, and for my income stream, I was expecting to receive about $640 from Google AdSense, and that went down to $0. And the only income that I received is from the Google Play Store. When people buy my app, they actually pull out their wallet and they buy it with their own money. But this income is usually about between $10 and $20 a month, right? So it is passive and it's great, but it is far off the advertising income that I received using AdSense. So not a good month, and certainly I hope that the following month will be better, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm in a very interesting position, and I believe that things don't happen to you, but things happen for you. So I'll see how this pans out. I certainly learned my lesson with regard to reliance on Google, and building partnership with large multinational corporations. I do see the need that, or I do believe that ads should be seen as a small piece of the overall passive income streams that you build up, and it is important to diversify, to have multiple income streams, which I was in the process of doing when this AdSense termination happened. And I'll talk to you soon, and you can follow my blogs, makemoneyonlineforlife.com, and read on what is going to happen next. So this is December 2019. Let's see where I'm going to be next month. Let's see where I'm going to be December 2020. Definitely some interesting times ahead of me. Now, with that said, let me see how many people are on the live stream, and I can see I'm talking to myself, which is okay. I certainly hope that if somebody listens into this recording, that at some point they will come and join one of those my live sessions. I would want to hear from you. I want to answer your question, and remember, if it happens to me, it probably can happen to you. You don't need to do anything wrong. You don't need to try to push the envelope. It just happens. One day you have passive income using through one stream, and the next day it's gone because of something that happened for you. With that said, I wish you all good holidays and a happy new year, and I will talk to you next week. Take care.